Honorable Senators, I welcome you to our 10th Senate sitting. Let's take our opening prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Youth Impact Parliament. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in Thy sight. Give divine guidance to the Executive Director of Youth Impact Movement. Endow senators with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this Senate, the interests and wishes of senators may be well and truly served, and our good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of this Senate, fair as it might be, a fraternity of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a fraternity of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a fraternity of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a fraternity of peace, where the Senate shall rest on the will of its senators and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of the Senate of Youth Impact Parliament, Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable Senators, I welcome you to today's sitting. We'll move to item 2 on the order paper, communication from founders. Fellow patriots, distinguished members and partners in youth leadership, we the founders of Youth Impact Movement warmly welcome all honorable senators to the 5th sitting of the 2nd session of the 1st Senate. As this 1st Senate gradually approaches the end of its historic tenure, we wish to express our profound appreciation to every senator for their commitment, sacrifice, dedication demonstrated in advancing the vision of Youth Impact Parliament. Your service has contributed immensely to strengthening this institution and laying a solid foundation for future generations. We are particularly dedicated and also delighted to congratulate this Senate and the 5th Parliament on the successful passage of the Youth Impact Parliament Forum of Women Parliamentarians Act 2025 Act 1 and the more recent Youth Impact Parliament Campus Club Act 2026 Act 2. These two landmark legislations represent historic milestones in the evolution of Youth Impact Parliament. They demonstrate that our parliament is not merely a stimulation of legislative practice, but an institution capable of enacting meaningful laws to regulate and strengthen its own governance and programs. Honorable Senators, the passage of the YIP Forum of Women Parliamentarians Act establishes a framework for promoting female leadership, participating, mentorship, and empowerment within Youth Impact Parliament. Whilst the YIP Campus Club Act has created a comprehensive legal framework for expanding parliamentary education and youth leadership development across educational institutions. These legislative achievements will remain part of the permanent legacy of the 1st Senate and 5th Parliament. Honorable Senators, as we draw closer to the dissolution of this historic 1st Senate in January 2027, let us continue to discharge our constitutional responsibilities with diligence, maturity, and excellence. The future generations of youth senators will look back at the records this chamber has achieved and judge us by the quality of the institution we built and the precedents we established. We therefore encourage all senators to remain committed throughout the remainder of this session as we continue to lay enduring foundations for the future parliament. May this historic Senate be remembered as the one that was legislated with vision, served with integrity, and built institutions that would outlive them. We wish you a fruitful deliberations. Thank you. Honorable Senators, we'll move to item 3 on the order paper. Item 3 on the order paper, which is communication from the President of the Senate. Honorable Senators, honorable officers of the Senate, fellow comrades, I welcome every honorable senator to this fifth sitting of the second session of the First Senate. Today's sitting presents us with an important opportunity to deliberate using technology to bridge the distance barrier and also discuss institutional matters that will shape the future administration, sustainability, and transition of the Youth Impact Parliament. Honorable Senators, the principal public business before this House, as I will share the order paper with you very soon, concerns the establishment of a sustainable financial framework for this Senate through the establishment of Senate dues. Every enduring parliamentary institution depends not only on visionary leadership, but also on sustainable financial contributions from its members. And for the attention of the Senate for the last 2 years have solely functioned on contribution from the parliament and from the founders. That is why it is therefore appropriate that this Senate carefully considers the introduction of financial contributions from its members, considers the introduction of an equitable due system that will support the operations of the Senate and strengthen its institutional dependency. Honorable Senators, in considering this matter, this Senate will also determine the amount payable by each senator, clerk, or marshal, and also decide on the most appropriate payment schedule, whether it will be annual contributions or payments prior to each inauguration. I encourage senators to approach this resolution objectively, bearing in mind both affordability and the long-term sustainability of the institution. Honorable Senators, another important matter before this Senate relates to the orderly transition from the First Senate to the Second Senate. Having successfully served in this historic term, it is necessary that we begin making arrangements for the dissolution of this chamber in accordance with our constitutional process. Today's discussion on the dissolution of the First Senate are therefore not merely procedural, but they represent the successful completion of the tenure we started. join the seat. Therefore, it is very important that we consider these matters in order to strengthen the finances of this Senate and make the Senate a more efficient institution than we started. Similarly, honorable senators, we will also receive announcements regarding the inauguration of the sixth parliament, as the fifth parliament is also gearing towards its dissolution next month. Let us continue to strengthen collaborations between the Senate and the Parliament in pursuance of our shared vision of developing ethical, competent, and transformational young leaders. Honorable Senators, following the public business, the Senate will proceed on a general debate on an issue of national importance. That is, that this Honorable Senate believes that the persistent incidence of flooding in Ghana can be significantly reduced through improved citizen discipline and responsible environmental practices. This debate presents an opportunity for senators to critically examine the balance between individual civic responsibility and governmental action in addressing one of Ghana's recurring environmental challenges. I encourage every senator to contribute constructively, drawing on evidence, practical experiences, policy perspectives that would enrich our deliberations. As always, I urge senators to conduct themselves in accordance with our standing orders, upholding the dignity of this distinguished chamber, and contribute meaningfully to the business before us. On that note, I wish honorable senators a fruitful deliberation. I thank you. Honorable senators, we'll move to item 4 on the order paper as shared with you. Business Committee Statement. We have the Vice Chairperson of the Business Committee in our midst, who is also the Deputy Majority Leader, Senator Mawuko Maqueson Afeti. Please unmute your mic and present the Business Committee Statement. The Business Committee Statement outlines the businesses before the Senate at a particular sitting. Honorable Senator, the floor is yours. Um, Senator Edward, do you mind stepping in for Senator Maqueson to present the Business Committee Statement as Minority Leader? Okay. Honorable Senators, Senator Moses. Senator Moses, would you mind presenting the statement? It is basically telling us what is on the other people. Senator Edward, you are back. Would you be able to do the role?
Good evening, Honorable. It's rather unfortunate that I'm in transit, so I'm losing some of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Senator Richard, you are not exactly part of the business committee, but this is capacity building. So would you mind presenting the business committee statement for us? Which is outlining today's business as stated on the other paper. Senator Richard. Okay. I think as of now, all our senators are either in transit or cannot hear us. Honorable senators, in simple and short, the business committee statement is the other paper. Are there any comments on the other paper? In the absence of any comments, I take it that honorable senators are okay if the business to be transacted for today's sitting. Honorable senators, the business statement is hereby adopted as business to be transacted for today's sitting. Item 5 on the other paper, official introduction of senators present. Please, we'll take introduction from all senators present online. Let's start with the clerk to the Senate. Miss Imelda, please introduce yourself. Senator Edmond.
Hello, my name is Yeboah Amenu, and I'm the minority leader for the Senate.
Thank you very much. Senator Moses.
Yes, Mr. President. My name is Aseye. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Deputy Majority.
Thank you very much. Senator Edmond Dokuma.
Oh, thank you. I'm Edmund Pepe Dokuma.
Thank you very much. Senator Richard. Senator Richard, we can't hear you.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Richard Amenu, voter West Senate Listed Committee Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Senator Afeti, introduction. Senator Enoch.
Hello.
Yeah, Senator Edward.
Yes, sir.
I was calling Senator Enoch Ngajo.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I think anyone who would introduce would have introduced by now. So
Hello, Mr. President.
yeah, Senator Moses.
Yes, I just want to correct someone here.
Okay.
My name is Aseye Moses, Majority Chief Whip, and also Senator to Bono.
Yes, please proceed with the correction.
Okay. Please, my name is Moses, Majority Whip of the Senate, ranking member of the Ethics Committee, and also Senator for Bono of Senatorial Constituency.
Thank you very much, Senator Moses. Senator
Welcome,
Enoch.
Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Enoch.
Yes. Honorable.
Yes, we are doing introductions.
Okay. I am
Thank you.
Enoch.
Yeah.
I am Enoch Nyajo. North East South Senator and the Vice Chairperson of the Ethics Committee.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Senators, we move to commencement of public business. Introduction of due system for the Senate. Honorable Senators, I'll give the overview to the reason for this business. Since March 2024, when the pilot Senate was established, till now, the Senate has been running on the finances and contributions of the Parliament and the directors. In exception of when we are going for trips and other programs, there is no dues introduced in the Senate. And it is not sustainable. That is why this one has been brought here for us to look at whether we want or we are accepting the introduction of a due system, or we want to continue riding on the finances of the directors and the Parliament. That is item 6. The floor is open. Thank you very much. Please, if you want to speak, you raise your hand and I'll call you. The question to senators is, do you agree that the dues should be introduced to the Senate or not? That will be the question we'll put at the end of this item. So for now, it is for us to debate on the subject matter before I put the question. It's for us to consider the subject matter in commentary before I put the question. Yes. Senator Richard. Senator Edward.
Sorry. Hello.
Yes, Honorable Senator.
Yes, sir.
I think even on the inauguration of the first Senate, you voluntarily contributed to fund the inauguration of the first Senate.
Exactly.
Yes, so can we have your opinion on whether or not a due system should be introduced to the Senate?
Thank you, Honorable. And this has been something that I've been waiting for, and I didn't know that it is even on the other paper today. I am very happy that this could be introduced because I personally have been looking at how this whole movement, not just the Senate, is being funded and all that. I think I had a conversation with you with that in regards to that, and you only say what is the name? Our patrons have been reporting and all that. But I think we have to take responsibility as honorable members, look at it critically, and then peg it at a very affordable price that everybody can contribute. So if you ask me, I am in for it. I am 100% for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Senator Edward, for your endorsement. Senator Moses, you have been a deputy marshal before becoming a marshal for the Senate, and now you are a senator. Senator Moses, let's hear your view on the subject matter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's necessary that we introduce you to the Senate. We do the different we have to make sure that the necessary in case
Thank you very much, Senator Moses. I think you have basically endorsed this. Clerk to the Senate, you have been in the Senate since March 2024. What do you think about the introduction of the dues? Miss Aseye Imelda Ossifuah. Yes. Senator Janet Agbalenyo, chairperson of the organizing committee. We are talking about introduction of dues to the Senate. Just as youth MPs pay dues before joining, the question is, should senators also pay dues? Can we have your opinion on it?
Okay, thank you. I think not for now, or maybe not for this year, because we barely had people joining the Senate. So don't you think when we add this, like if people are not able to afford it, we are still going to get less numbers to join the Senate. So I think maybe at least for this year, if we can bring people on board for us to be a little plenty before we introduce the dues. That's my own opinion.
Okay, item 7 and 8 are going to talk about the amount and when it should be introduced. Item 6 is whether we should introduce it or not. So since we're talking about timeline, when we get to item 8, you can share your view on it. But this one is, should we introduce it or not?
Okay, yes, we should.
Thank you very much.
Because
I'm listening.
Because I think it's also another for the Senate regulation.
Thank you very much, Senator Janet. Senator Enoch, who is a new senator.
Honorable,
Yes.
I think the dues aspect can be introduced, but should be affordable for all senators, because I believe it's not all senators that are working at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe I can now put the question because we all appear to be the same view. We need this documented. So if you want us to do voice votes, then you have to turn on your mics to vote. But if voice votes will not work, then we'll have to vote in the comment section for the records. So I'll put voice vote first. If it doesn't work, then we'll try the second opinion. Honorable senators in favor that I think, may I please call for a motion? Senator Edward, if you could, with all due respect, move the motion that a due system be introduced for the Senate, I would be glad. Minority Leader of the Senate, motion.
Oh, I didn't get that place clearly.
Yes, motion for the introduction of the dues to the Senate.
You mean we are voting for it?
Yes, before we can vote, it has to be moved and seconded as a motion.
Okay. So please fit me in. Hasn't been moved. Am I to second?
Please, you have to move the motion.
Okay. So thank you so much, President. And I rise to move for the motion that the Senate should have a dues payment system to enable the Senate to run smoothly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senator. Senator Janet, secondment.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to second the motion that the Senate should pay dues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senators. Honorable Senators, I call on you to unmute yourself as I put the question as a voice vote. All senators in favor for the introduction of the due system to the Senate, say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor of the motion, say nay. Honorable Senators, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Therefore, the Senate has adopted by vote and resolution that due system be introduced to aid the financing of Senate sittings and activities. Honorable Senators, we move to item 7, resolution on the amount to be paid by senators. Honorable Senators, during lessons from the Parliament introduced dues first as inaugural levy prior to the inauguration of the second Parliament. And this first started, I think the inaugural dues was 20 cedis, but the inaugural levy was 20 cedis. And then they introduced the dues as 5 cedis. I think it was 5 cedis per month. So when you add it for 12 months, it ended up at 60 cedis. But it was paid monthly. Throughout the second Parliament, it didn't work. So it was made as an en bloc payment. It was made as an en bloc payment of 60 cedis after the inaugural levy. And that started from the third Parliament. But the issue that arose was that it was voluntary and it was difficult enforcing. So people join and they never get to pay. So it's the people who pay that end up financing. So prior to the inauguration of the fourth Parliament, the House or the Parliament decided that the inaugural levy and the dues be joined together, in the sense that you pay it before you are confirmed for a seat. And that is the history with the House. So learning from that, I would advise that it should be done as an en bloc payment, not in bits. Honorable Senators, having known the advice that I've given to the Senate that the dues be done as an en bloc payment, the floor is now open. I think before I open the floor, the Parliament currently pays 100 cedis per Parliament, and the Parliament lasts for 1 year. The Senate lasts for 2 years. However, every year we do revision of membership and senators, membership and leadership. So, having given this background, the floor is now open on proposal for the amounts to be paid by senators, clerks, and Marshal. I think before I fully open the floor as well, clerks and marshals are usually seen to be appointed, and due to that, we take them on before whatever they can give. But if they don't pay anything, it doesn't seem that they are committed. That is why they are included. So usually what happens in the parliament is if the parliamentarians are paying an amount, the clerks and marshals pay half of that. So that is also for the attention. So if we just agree on the amounts for the senators, then the amounts for the clerks and marshals would also be gotten. So, honorable senators and members, the floor is now open for the proposal of the amount to be paid by senators. Senator Moses.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please, when it comes to the amount to be paid, are we proposing for 2 years duration or 1 year as the parliament?
Yes, I think that is a matter we have to discuss even before we talk about the amount. The tenure of the Senate is 2 years, but leadership and membership is revised at the end of each session, which is a session is January to December. So by January, a revised leadership and membership is presented. So I think upon that, um, it's advisable if it is done per session, which is per year, in the case that leadership is revised. But if members think it should be done per year, then it means if someone new is coming in, then he just pays for per year. And since so, I don't know, how does the Senate think? Do you think it should be done per year or per Senate? Taking notice that a Senate is 2 years and a year is per session. Yes, Senator Moses.
So please, if Mr. President, if that's the case, then I think the amount that we will decide on individually, you can decide to pay it maybe half in a year, then the other another year you pay the remaining amount.
Oh,
That's
okay.
if we cannot afford to pay all at once.
Oh, okay. So we could agree on the amount, but they will pay per year. Or if you want to pay all at a go, you can. Okay. Yeah. I think that works. That works. So, honorable senators, Senator Moses has proposed that it be done per Senate, which is 2 years, where senators are allowed to decide whether they are paying at the point of payment. They will decide whether they will pay per year or they are paying per Senate. So if it is So you come to pay now. I'm paying for the Senate, so you pay the full amount. But if you want to pay per session, it means at the end of that session, you should be ready to pay the second one. Yes, so that is the proposal of Senator Moses. I think I would want to put the question on that because it helps us to finalize on the amount. So, honorable senators, proposal moved by Senator Moses that the payments be done per Senate, which is 2 years, instead of per session, which is 1 year. All senators in favor of that proposal say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor of that proposal say nay. Honorable senators, the ayes have it. Therefore, the Senate has resolved to pay the dues per Senate, which is 2 years. Honorable senators, now we come back to the original business, which is the resolution on the amount. Honorable senators should take note that whatever amount is being decided is the payment for 2 years of being in the Senate, which means senators can pay half for the first session, and when the second session is drawing closer, they pay another half. That is for the attention of senators. Honorable senators and members, now the floor is open for proposal on the amounts to be paid. Senator Edmond. Yeah,
I'm suggesting to be 120.
120.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Honorable senators,
This is
yeah, thank you very much. Honorable senators and members, Senator Edmond has proposed 120 cedis for 2 years. The floor is open for other proposals. The floor is open for other proposals. Yes. Senator Moses, please, I think you should also propose an amount. Senator Enoch Nyajo.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity. Since this is going to be a 2-year payment or a payment for a 2-year period, I believe if you do it 150, it will be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Nyajo. Honorable senators, the floor is still open. 2 proposals have been made, 120 cedis and 150 cedis. Senator Moses.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I think I'll also go in for the 120.
Thank you very much. Senator Edward, please, won't you propose any amount? Senator Edward. Senator Richard. Any proposal? Honorable senators, I would like to propose an amount of 100 cedis for the 2 years, given to the fact that in 2 years' time, the Senate will get to sit as much as the Parliament. The Parliament sits an average of 12 times in 1 year, which is their tenure. The Senate sits an average of 12 times, which is 2 years in their tenure. So given that the House or the Parliament pays 100, I want to propose an amount of 100. I would like to propose an amount of 100 cedis. So, honorable senators, there are 3 proposals for the Senate to vote on, and this vote will not be by voice. 100 cedis has been proposed for 2 years. 120 cedis has been proposed for 2 years. And then 150 cedis have been proposed for 2 years. Honorable senators, I'll put the question and I call on senators to vote in the comment section of the amount of interest to them. We have 100 cedis for 2 years, 120 cedis for 2 years, and 150 cedis for 2 years. Honorable senators, let us vote in the in-comment section. Honorable senators, voting is still ongoing. Let us vote in the in-comment section. We have 100 cedis for 2 years, 120 cedis for 2 years, 150 cedis for 2 years. The floor voting is still ongoing in the comment section. I encourage all senators to vote. Voting is still ongoing. Senators who haven't voted yet, please, I call on you to vote. Senator Comfort Dapo, we are voting on introduction of bills by the Senate. We have 100 cedis for 2 years, 120 cedis for 2 years, and 150 cedis for 2 years. Please vote on your choice in the comment section.
Okay.
Senator Edmond.
Okay.
Yes, Senator Edmond, please cast your vote as well. Hundred cedis for 2 years, 120 cedis for 2 years, 150 cedis for 2 years. Honorable senators, voting is still ongoing in the in-call message. I'm seeing a name. Is it Eric Opoku? Please, Mr. Eric, are you okay? I think he's gone. Okay. Senator Edmond, you are here to vote. Please vote and then we bring the voting to an end. Senator Edmond. Senator Edmond, please vote so that we can take a decision. Hey, am I saying 1,120 cedis? Hey. Okay. I'll take that as a sports ballot. Honorable senators, Voting is closed, and this is the result. 100 votes. Hey, cool down. 100 cedis, 2 votes. 120 cedis, 2 votes. 150 cedis, 2 votes. Honorable Senators, this is the first time in the world we are having, and 1 rejected ballot. Total votes, 7 votes. 100 cedis, 2 votes. 120 cedis, 2 votes. 150 cedis, 2 votes. This is the first time in the world we are having a tie. We are having a tie. Honorable Senators, due to that, the vote is lost, and we have to conduct the vote again. Honorable Senators, before I put the question, please think among yourselves of the amount, because we have a tie. We have a tie, and due to the tie, no decision is made. Honorable Senators, we have casted our first vote, and I've shared the verdict of the chair. The vote is lost because we have a tie, first in history in the entire world. I have not seen a tie before. Honorable Senators, we are unable to make a decision, and we will have to put the question again on the 3. Honorable Senators, think deep among yourself before we cast the second vote, the second round of voting. There have been 3 nominations, and the nominations are 100 cedis for 2 years, 120 cedis for 2 years, and 150 cedis for 2 years. In the first round of votes, 100 cedis had 2 votes, 120 cedis had 2 votes, 150 cedis had 2 votes, and 1 rejected ballot. Total valid votes casted 6. Total votes casted 7. Verdict of the chair. Tie. Vote is lost. Honorable Senators, we will take the vote again, and I put the question to the Senate that the Senate decides on the amount to be paid by senators per Senate, which is 2 years. Honorable Senators, the second ballot is open for vote. Please cast your vote. Please cast your vote. Honorable Senators, we are doing our second round of voting. Please cast your vote for the second round of voting. Honorable Senators, the floor is still open for voting. We have 7 senators currently online. Please cast your votes so that we can make a decision. We have 5 votes casted out of total senators of 7 currently online. Honorable Senators, please cast your votes. Senator Edmond, is he online? Senator Edmond and Senator, okay, Senator Richard and Senator Edmond, please cast your votes for the Senate on the dues. We have 100 cedis, 120 cedis, and 150 cedis. Senator Edmond and Senator Richard, please cast your votes. Senator Edmond and Senator Richard, please cast your votes. Thank you very much. Senator Richard, okay, thank you very much. Honorable Senators, voting has now ended. The polls are closed. Honorable Senators, a decision is being made finally by the Senate. A decision is being made by the Senate. Hundred cedis, 3 votes. $120 cedis, 0 votes. $150 cedis, 4 votes. Total valid votes 7. I beg, I dey check sitting now. I dey do sitting now. Total valid votes 7 votes. Total votes 7 votes. Rejected ballots 0. Verdict of the chair 150 votes has won the poll. Honorable Senators, thank you very much. The Senate has now made a decision after the second round of votes for the amounts to be paid in 2 years. Let me just share it again for the attention of the Senate. Second ballot on dues amount for 2 years. 100 cedis 3 votes, 120 cedis 0 votes, 150 cedis 4 votes, total valid votes 7, total votes 7, rejected ballots 0. Verdict of the chair 150 cedis. 150 cedis wins. Honorable Senators, thank you for participating in this decision making. Thank you for participating in this decision making. And we'll move to item 8, resolution on timeline of payment. And there are two, I think there are two timelines. The timeline is whether it starts now or prior to the inauguration of the second Senate. I think we have already clarified whether it should be annual or biannual. We have agreed that the total is 150, and senators can choose whether to pay 75 cedis per session or 150 at a go. So the decision for us to make is if the dues is starting now or prior to the inauguration of the second Senate. Honorable Senators, the floor is open. Honorable Senators, the floor is open on the floor is open. Honorable Senators, when do you think the payment should start? Senator Janet, I think this is where your recommendation will come in. Can we hear you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
Before I continue with the time we should start
Yeah, Senator Janet, I think I'm.
I want to talk about the money decided on.
Yeah.
Because the 100 days is what we can complete within the 2 years.
Yes. I'm sure that.
So, think about their decision.
Senator Daisy, I'll personally support you 50 cedis when you make your 100 cedis available, okay?
Okay.
So, can you now speak on the timeline when the dues payment should start?
Okay, so like you were saying, I think the 75 days. Okay, so if someone can pay all, or if we are about to, if we finish one session and we are going to the second, if someone is not able to pay before, let's say if someone is able to pay at least half before we are moving to the next session,
Yeah.
or we should make a law that the person should pay the second session or
Well, those are managerial decisions to be made. Just as how the parliament is being handled. For a couple of people, it is being made flexible, just that they are ensured that they pay it. But the decision of the Senate is that mandatorily nothing less than half. And when we are about ending one session, then the second should be paid. So the decision we want to take is whether the dues is starting now or prior to the inauguration of the second Senate. The second Senate is to be inaugurated on January 2027. January 2027 is when the second Senate is to be inaugurated January 2027. January 2027. So, should the dues commence prior to inauguration and when a member is joining new? That is the question. And I think I'll just put the vote on it. So, honorable senators, the vote or the question is that the dues be paid prior to inauguration of a Senate and at any point in time a new senator is joining. Honorable senators in favor of the question, say aye. Honorable senators, please unmute your mic whilst I put the question. Honorable senators in favor that the dues be paid prior to inauguration and at any point in time a new senator joins. Say aye.
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 Not in favor, say
Aye.
nay. Thank you. Not in favor, say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Therefore, the Senate has resolved that the dues be paid prior to inauguration and at which point in time a new senator joins.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Senator Comfort. Senator Janet.
Yeah, Mr. President, please, I want so if maybe moving to the second session and you start joining, the person is supposed to pay the 150.
What happens in the parliament is if the parliament is to be dissolved in August and you join in March, you still pay 100 cedis, which is the full dues. So if a senator is joining 5 months to dissolution, he still pays the full. But if he's crying, then maybe it could be relaxed for him to pay 100 or 75. But per the precedence from the parliament, the amount doesn't change at the point in time you are joining. Because it has been agreed that the dues for the 2 years is 150 cedis.
Okay, so I think there should be movement on it. If the person is or maybe half, so that there won't be any crying for.
Yeah, I think if someone joins in the second year of the Senate, maybe he could be made to just pay 100 cedis instead of the 150 if he's joining the second year, because he has missed entirely 1 full year. So I think that can also be looked at. Okay. Senator Edmund.
I wanted to ask the same question. So it has been
Yes. I'm also of the view that when a senator joins in the second year, that is, the Senate has already spent 1 full year, instead of paying 150, you could just be made to pay 100 cedis. So that you could just be made to pay 100 cedis instead of 150. But the full use is 150. And then the clerks and the marshals are paying half of the 150, which is 75 cedis. So, honorable senators, that brings us to the end of matters relating to the dues. Honorable senators should take note that the dues contains the inaugural levy. The dues contains inaugural levy, and it is from the dues the refreshment is bought. And may I announce to the Senate that the days of Bigo has finally come to an end. Youth Impact Parliament now patronizes Rasta Malta. Rasta malt instead of Bigo. So the days of Bigo has come to an end. At least something heavier as Rasta malt is being served. Honorable Senators, may we move to item 9. Item 9. Plans for dissolution of the First Senate. Honorable Senators, as you are aware, the First Senate was inaugurated in January 2025. That is exactly 9 months after the inauguration of the Senate. And the pilot Senate was dissolved on that day, and the first Senate was formed. The first Senate is due to be dissolved in January 2028. 27, please. January 2027. And the date proposed for the dissolution is 9th January 2027. 9th January 2027. The first Senate will be dissolved. The first Senate will be dissolved in the morning, 9 to 11, and at exactly 12 o'clock, the inauguration of the second Senate will start. And that is the plan. So, from November, senators will start to affirm whether or not they want to end with the first Senate or continue into the second Senate. So, our certificates will be provided for all senators. Some senators joined from the second session. Some senators have been serving since the first session. So, if you have served 2 sessions, your certificate will contain first Senate from January 2025 to January 2027. But if you had a change of portfolio or you have joined from the second session, your certificate will contain January 2026 to January 2027, indicating the second session of the first Senate. So the certificates will be made available in soft copy from the 9th of January 2027 for outgoing senators and all senators who have served in the first Senate. Even if you join after January 2026 in the second session, the certificate is going to cover from January 2026 to 2027. Honorable senators, going to the plans for the inauguration of the second Senate. The date proposed is the 9th of January 2027. Leadership will be revised, and by 31st of October, the leadership for the second Senate would have been agreed on and be unveiled. Just as the Parliament, 2 months to inauguration, the leadership is settled on. Yes, Senator Janet.
Okay, Mr. President, I want to ask if and what happens if someone
Senator Janet, I think your line was breaking off, so I couldn't hear the question.
okay, so I was asking the UCC complete and what happens if after the period?
Yeah, so as agreed even before we spoke on the amount, senators are encouraged to pay at least half, which is 75, before they will be confirmed, not the full. But if senators can pay the 150 straightforward, it's not a problem. And just as in the parliament, if you are not able to pay your dues, you are not confirmed, so that you don't enter before we'll be asking you about contribution. So what will happen is that those who pay one session, by October, we'll start calling them to pay for the second session. But those who pay in full at the inauguration will not be bothered by 2028 to pay the second session. Have I answered the question? Senator Janet, have I answered your question?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. May I encourage senators to call on their colleagues to also come and join the Senate? For now, the Senate is not, we will not open nomination forms because it is a new type of thing. So, what will happen is if you want someone to join the Senate, just get him to WhatsApp the president of the Senate. Or I think the YIP contact will be responsible for that, just as it's doing with the parliament. But nomination forms will not be open for the Senate. But however, anyone who wishes to join will just contact the YIP number and then everything will be sorted out. So from now till November, when leadership will be considered, if you want someone to join, from November, the person could be contacted and then told about the dues, and then that can be worked on. Leadership will only comprise of continuing senators. Senators from the first Senate are the ones that leaders will be choosing from. And leaders who, senators who are not residing in town would not be considered for leadership because we'll need you to turn up for sittings. But senators out of town can still continue to be senators. But to be part of leadership, you have to be in town and be vibrant and be attending sittings. They have been complaining that senators do not come for sittings. Even at joint sittings, the members of parliament have not been seeing senators. So senators are encouraged to be present at sittings. So the people we are looking at inviting for the Senate, a couple of people are coming in mind. If we are lucky, we'll get one of the first-time MPs to come and witness the Senate. Honorable Thomas Cheko is there. Honorable Frank Afri is there. That we could look at. Honorable Charles Adbebe, or even any of our patrons will be looked at to come and witness the Senate. The embarrassing issue about inviting these people is that our senators don't even turn up for the inauguration, and that is rather sad. So I want to encourage senators to be punctual and attend sittings of the Senate. Because the parliamentarians are plenty, they always turn up. So senators are also encouraged to be present. All other plans will be unveiled as time goes on. Honorable senators, the floor is open on item 9 and 10, dissolution of the first Senate and inauguration of the second Senate. Please, are there any contributions? Are there any contributions? I take it that honorable senators have accepted whatever is going on. So go to item 11, announcement on the inauguration of the sixth parliament. Honorable senators, the sixth parliament is due to be inaugurated exactly in 1 month. is due to be inaugurated on the 8th of August 2026 at the H2 SRCJCR. Invitation has been sent to Honorable Peter Nochukotui, Honorable Eric Edemagbana, and Mama Bobby, as the flyers will be shared by next week. Senators are encouraged to come and support our sisters in the Parliament for the inauguration. This Sunday, the Parliament will be sitting to have a political debate. Senators are encouraged to join them as interim youth MPs and debate on the political debates that may arise. And we will be having our first female Speaker of Parliament, who shall be sworn into office exactly next month. And it is important to support the affirmative action. As the Senate, joint with the Parliament, has passed the YIP Forum of Women Parliamentarians Act, it's important that we support a female to lead the Parliament. Honorable Senators, that is the information, the announcement on the inauguration of the sixth Parliament. Any comments on the inauguration of the sixth Parliament? Okay. Honorable Senators, we'll move to the next item, commencement of debate. General debate on the motion. Thus, this Senate believes that the persistent incident of flooding in Ghana can be significantly reduced through improved citizen discipline and responsible environmental practice than relying primarily on government interventions and mitigation measures. Senator Janet, please move the motion for the debate. Senator Moses will second. Senator Janet, motion for the debate.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to move the motion for the debate that this Senate believes that the incidents of flooding in Ghana can be improved within this rather than relying primarily on measures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Senator Moses, second one.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Honorable Senators and members, the motion is now up for debate. Honorable Senators, the motion basically surrounds the June 29th flooding. Senators are free to express their view on that. The floor is now open. May I call on Senator Janet to share her view on the June 29 floods and on the motion whether it is the citizens that can stop the flooding or government. Thank you very much. Yeah, Senator Janet, we are inviting you to share your view on the motion. Thank you. Senator Moses.
Thank you, Mr. President. Talking about the motion, for me, I think no matter how government intervenes, without the best attitude of the citizens, I think it's in vain. So we should rather encourage and educate the citizens, especially those who live around areas and those who build around waterlogged areas to desist from that. And if government can also intervene by relocating some of the land, as in the government lands, for to help the citizens acquire some of the lands and also do their best to put up a structure that will help them instead of putting up structure at waterlogged areas. I think that would be the best attitude. Education would be the best. But government intervention, whereby providing them resources and also helping them financially and the rest, I think it won't solve the problem totally. Demolishing buildings and the rest, we humans, no matter what, we still have this thing, Mensa and other people around in our midst that will still go for the wrong side to build. So we should rather encourage education and us before demolishing their building sites. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Senator Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe that the persistent incident of flooding in Ghana can be significantly reduced through improved citizen discipline and responsible environmental practices. However, while the citizens improve discipline, I believe government has a big role to play in this as well. Because looking at the devastation that happened on the June 9th, which is just last month, I believe proper drainage systems had to be put in place. And this has nothing to do about citizens' discipline or indiscipline among the citizens. So government has a huge role to play. Now, after government putting in these drainage systems and also distilling choke gutters in the capital, and then creating and the demolition of the buildings on the waterways, I believe it's not only buildings. Most of the times, so government puts structures in waterways as well, which also prevent the free flow of water in the capital. So after distilling and then putting all these measures in place, I believe government should look at the reintroduction of the town council, which we normally call or known as the tankers, because bringing these people in, it's going to improve the discipline aspect among the citizen. Because those days that we do have these things, when you go to most homes or villages, the places are being kept clean. In instances where it's not being kept clean, with the hearing or the notice of the presence of the town council people in the community, there's a kind of fear among the citizens. So the discipline aspect can be there, but there should be enforcers of this discipline. And I believe that attitudes of citizens at this particular moment, I don't think the thinking ways or the attitudes of citizens can change if measures are not being put in place. Because the attitudes we have in the olden days are not the same attitudes we are seeing in our community these days. So both citizens and governments have a huge role to play going forward to making sure the flood issues are being mitigated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senator Enoch. Senator Janet. Senator Janet. Senator Edmond. Senator Richard.
Honorable.
Yes, we are talking about the motion, which is the June 29 floods, and whether government should take responsibility or the citizens on stopping the future floods.
Okay. I'll add the little that I have to say. Thank you, Mr. President, and the House for the opportunity to contribute to the motion as to whether government should take responsibility for the catastrophic flooding incidents in our country, or citizens should take up responsibility. And I would say when we look at the capital of Ghana, that is the Greater Accra region, and the other regions that were particularly affected, when you cast your eyes back to the Volta region, you look at part of Ashanti region, we can all say that the catastrophic floods of June 29th were not just a natural disaster. They were a structural wake-up call, because people say it's a natural disaster because, yes, it was a rainfall. As a result, floods came in, but we won't say it was just there and it happened. It should rather be a wake-up call, a structural wake-up call to us. Because when the waters rose, it became very easy to point fingers, because you see people pointing at the government, others also pointing at us. Some blame the government for failing to dredge the Odo River, others also blame the citizens for choking our drainage networks. But as professionals as we are, and as young people as we are, we know the truth. No single entity can concrete our way out of this crisis alone. The government cannot do it alone. Neither the citizens can also do it alone. And reducing Ghana's consistent flooding requires a radical shift in shared responsibility. We have to blend our structural engineering with human discipline. And even when we say the structural engineering, it has to do with how our towns, our communities, new developing areas are planned. And we must speak candidly about citizen discipline. In as much as the urban planning committees or the communities are also doing their job, we must also speak to the citizens for them to be able to maintain their waste discipline. They shouldn't be going around pouring their dirt or their waste substances in the gutters. We can also say that the infrastructure, even when the government intervenes and they put things in place, cannot function without a cultural shift in how we handle our waste as individuals. The government can put the drainage systems in place, the government can do their best, but if we as citizens, we continue our bad habits of pouring every little waste substance in the gutters. I think there were videos also going around of people being seen pouring their waste from their various houses into the flood waters, into the gutters. If we do not change, if there's no cultural shift in our mindset on how we handle such things, there won't be any way forward. So we must stop treating our drainage systems as trash cans. Because the drainage system, the gutter in front of your house is not a boiler, it's not a refuse dump. The gutter in front of your house is not a trash can. So when you have trash, take it to the appropriate place. I'm sure we have been seeing individuals in our communities that go by picking waste substances from our various houses. And that is what should be done, because these individuals don't take it to the gutters. There's a place designated for waste substances to be kept. And that is one of the main reasons our gutters are being choked. And I will use the opportunity to say a very big thank you to this platform, these people, Bus Stop Boys. I think they are a group of young people who are doing amazing work. When you follow their page, they go about the capital, draining the drainage systems, the places that are being choked and all that. And I think I want to commend, I saw something on Honorable Marlon Kluche's page on Facebook recently. They were in front of the whole sports stadium. A gutter that was occupied with sand, and you not even know that there's a gutter there. Together with Mawuko movement also, they were removing the sand from the gutters. Then when I saw it, I was glad that we are becoming responsible as citizens. And when a citizen dumps plastic or waste into a gutter, they are not just littering the environment, they are actually sabotaging engineering designs. We can build the widest storm drains in West Africa. As I said, the government can build the water drains, but if the citizens continue to pack the already choked gutters with solid waste, the water has nowhere to go but into our streets and our homes. And that is what we should know about. In the end, we will be the one to be affected. In the end, we should be the one to be affected. However, we cannot also rely on the citizens' discipline alone. The citizen can be disciplined, but we cannot rely on it alone. Individual discipline cannot also fix the systemic structural failures we currently face in Ghana. Because as we all know, I think I was even questioning someone a few days ago that why do we keep practicing open drainage system in Ghana? And those of you who are listening to me, the open drainage system is when they do gutters without covering it. Because sometimes most of these rubbers that go into these gutters are not being dropped by individuals. It is sometimes being moved there by the wind, or someone is sweeping somewhere and it dropped by. So what if we practice the closed drainage system whereby all our gutters are covered, so that air will not blow rubber from somewhere, blow plastic cups from somewhere into the gutters, thereby causing chokes. It's high time Ghana starts practicing such a system instead of the always open drainage system, which is even too small to contain the amount of rain that sometimes pass through these drainage systems. And also, when citizens deal in waterways because local assemblies fail to enforce zoning laws, especially these areas that are sometimes are like so I think the popular thing in Ghana is the Ramsar sites. some of the things are please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Proceed.
Okay. Some of the things people refer to as the Ramsar site, and some of these wetlands sometimes or mostly are being used as site where when water overflows, sometimes from the river bodies or from designated areas, the water goes to sit there and goes into the ground. But we see individuals buying such lands and putting up huge developments there, and when the rain comes, it has no place to go. And people have even paved all of their entirety of their homes. So even if water comes into their homes, the water cannot go into the ground, it will stay afloat because there is no place for the water to go through. So we should also encourage people to that when you are building your house and you are concreting the floor, you should actually leave some spaces where there should be greenery that when water comes into your home, it can easily sink into the ground instead of staying there. So the local assembly should also take up their role because they keep selling the lands to these people. The Environmental Protection Agency should also up their game. The Urban Planning Department should also up their game because they are responsible for this zoning and selling of this particular lands. And we see individuals building in this site without any iota of fear that when the rivers overflow, it will come into their homes and take lives. They really need to up their game on that because the government keeps paying them with taxpayers' money for that job to be done. But it seems some of them are even in cahoots with the individuals who build in such waterways. And I think the government should even demolish those buildings because if those places continue to be there, if those properties continue to be there, if those buildings continue to be there, what happens next year? We will come back next year in June during the rainy seasons to keep talking about the flood. So I would say our role as individuals and youth is to bridge this gap. We must move away from purely reactive engineering and spearhead sustainable design. You know, in Ghana, last year there was the issue of flood. They came and talked about it. We all spoke about it. It died out because dry season came. This year too, the same thing happened. Reactive engineering. When it happened, you see the authorities going around, start asking people demolish this place, let's clear the gutters. I think even this Friday is being declared as sanitation day also in the country. So this is more of like a reactive engineering because after doing it in 1 or 2 months, you don't see it happening again. They go to sleep until the floods come again next year before you see them waking up from their offices. That attitude must stop. We should refuse to design or build on protected wetlands and natural waterways. Let's enforce strict permeable surface ratios on our project sites to reduce rapid surface runoff. Let's also educate our clients, individuals who are also growing and want to build, that completely paved compound is a flood hazard to their neighbors. And sorry, maybe some of the things, if you listen to it, you might not really get some of the particularly this particular part I'm talking about because this particular part I'm speaking as a building technologist as well as a youth development advocate and a youth senator. So I'm just telling my colleagues who are also on the call with me that when you want to build your compound, don't completely pave it. Leave some parts and plant a green grass, as we popularly call it, so that when one day the floods come into your home, they will use that avenue to drain and not be packed in your house. That is the advice I'll give you to as well. So I will say the June 29 floods prove that engineering without civic discipline is futile, and citizen goodwill without structural governance is useless. Let us use our expertise in this country to build not just a structures, but a more responsible and resilient Ghana that will not flood. And I will say that I listened to an honorable member that said that flood happens in other developed countries as well. And yes, it is true that we cannot prevent flooding completely, but let us do our best. Let us get to a stage where a whole country will not come to a standstill just because there is flood. Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to this motion.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be at this. The hotel. Yeah, right. I'm sure he'll be at the hotel. Yes, Senator Edmond. Senator Edmond. Senator Edmond. Yeah, Senator Edmond.
Yeah, concerning the flood drainage, I think there should be proper drainage system, and to ensure that the water bodies flow well. Yes, to avoid flooding.
Thank you very much, Senator Edmond. Senator Janet, please, before we conclude, I think Senator Richard should give us a comprehensive education on his building technology with respect to this, because I think senators and people who will watch would need such an indication to know the technicalities behind the flood. I equally have some information, but I think I'll share that before Senator Richard. Senator Janet.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Talking about the flooding situation in the country. The cause is from we, the citizens. We cannot blame the government on this. Because when you go to social media, you still see people, even though these flooding issues are occurring, they are still pouring rubbishes inside gutters. When you follow these bus stop guys on social media, you could see how choked many gutters are in Accra. And then no one is saying anything about it. The government didn't come from anywhere and choke our gutters. It is we, the citizens. Some people are building on waterways without getting permits before proceeding with their building. Some people, even though they know that it's a waterways, they will just fill the place and start building there. They know exactly what they are doing is very dangerous, but they will proceed and do it. We cannot blame the government on these flood issues, but ourselves. And for this to stop, we need to work hand in hand as citizens. Stop pouring rubbishes in gutters. Make sure our gutters are clean. I think if the president should even make a law that maybe every Saturday or once in a month, citizens should organize this cleanup exercise and clean their various gutters, it would be a very good idea. Because looking at the number of gutters that are choked, how can government come down from wherever it is and clear our gutters for us? It is our own responsibility to just work this together as citizens to stop these flooding issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Janet. Honorable Senators, before Senator Richard speaks, we have been educated by the majority leader of the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Mahama Ayariga Esquire, the MP for Baku Central, that this particular month, June, on the fateful 28th and 29th, the metric liters of rainfall that happened between these 2 days was more than the entire rainfall that happened the entire of last year. And it happened within the sub-region of West Africa, leading to flooding of Ivory Coast, Togo, and other countries nearby. It was a heavy rainfall in the sense that the drainage in Ghana and other countries were not built to take such big rainfalls within the shortest possible time. And if our drainages were even properly done, Accra could have still been flooded, but properties wouldn't have been destroyed. I'm not so familiar with Accra, but it seems Alajo had been the most affected area. Even very big drainage systems in Accra were flooded, in which we saw even vehicles being carried into the big drains. We witnessed people's houses completely destroyed. We don't know whether senators have seen the video of the guy who said, "My bedroom, my bedroom. The rain has destroyed my bedroom. The rain has taken my bedroom away." I don't know whether senators saw that video. I'll share it with them. The rain destroyed people's bedroom completely, taken away. People's vehicles were completely submerged into the flood. In some areas, taking example, Alajo, the rain rose to completely cover the ground floor. Families were electrocuted. People were completely drowned to death. And a lot of properties were destroyed, including monies, equipments, and whatsoever. The consequence of these metric tons or metric liters of rain has been so devastating that over 300,000 people were displaced, in the sense that their homes were affected, people's workplaces were affected, people's livelihood were completely drawn away. People lost their businesses, people lost their homes, people lost their families, people lost their properties, and most disheartening, nothing less than 50 people have been counted dead, adding all the municipalities affected. From the Volta region to Greater Accra, to the Central region, to the Western region, have all been flooded in specific areas. But the most affected town is Accra. Now, the matter of irresponsible attitude and indiscipline by Ghanaians cannot be understated. Because if we were at least to keep our drainage, as I stated earlier on, properties wouldn't be destroyed. The flood would not raise to cover the entire ground floor. It would have been minimal. In places like Alajo, if drainages were done very well and people had not built at places they were not to build at least if there will be any flood in power, it will be maybe at worst, the knee level, and a few properties will be lost and no life would have been lost. But because of the indiscipline of Ghanaians, in failing to do the little expected of them, this much damage was caused. Even up to now, a week after the flood, people do not have places to sleep because their houses were destroyed. People do not have workplaces to go because their workplaces and businesses have been destroyed. People could not even pick anything because all their properties have been completely destroyed and people's lives were lost. One particular person was saying he wanted to go and pick his TV whilst the entire room was flooded. And my brother wanted to go and pick his TV. And when he went to pick his TV, he was electrocuted because as of then, up to the knee level was completely flooded. And the circuit to disconnect the TV to pick it out was completely submerged, whilst electricity was not turned off in the building. So in doing so, he was electrocuted to death. The fact of the matter is that the issue is devastating. The damage has already been done. Lives lost, properties destroyed, but at the end of the day, life must go on. The government has made an allocation of 350 million, of which half will be used for relief items and the other half for the activities of ensuring the flooding does not happen again. We hope that after the government has done what is expected of him, citizens will do the least expected of them, because anytime this will happen, they are the people to be affected. If we contribute to our own downfall, we're the only people to be there. And after Senator Richard is done with his education, I would give on the final verdict of the Senate after the question is input on our opinion on the matter. Thank you very much. Senator Richard. Senator Richard. Senator Richard. I think Senator Richard is offline. Okay.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah. We wanted you to give us more education per the technicality with respect to your specialty, so that members can be better educated on this, in addition to what you said earlier.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. And I would want to say majority of the things has been stated in the presentation I made earlier. But I would also want to say that this issue of flooding, I know, and we all know that it's not going to end soon, and it won't end actually, because we do see other nations also get flooded, other more developed nations also get flooded. But I've been thinking since that, not even when the issue happened, but in front of my house, there's a road construction ongoing, and the depth of the gutter. If let me put it in the normal thing, when I put my leg into the gutter, it's just at my knee. It's just at my knee. That's the depth of the gutter. And the wideness is just when I sit down and I put my leg on top of the gutter, from my foot to my knee, that's the length. That's the wideness of the gutter. And looking at such a gutter, do we really think if one day there's a heavy rainfall and it's passing through this gutter, the gutter will be able to take it? No, it won't take it. So I've been having the concern, why do we keep building the sort of the gutter system we have since the 80s? Because I'm sure most of these gutters or these drainage systems we have been built since our two grandfathers passed. So why do we continue? Because the population of Ghana after 1980 or 1970 something, is way lesser as compared to the current population of Ghana, which is around 37 million plus. So why do we keep using or keep building such drainage systems? Even as we speak, the current road development going on in the country, both inner cities and urban, if you look at some of the gutters at some of the places, you ask yourself, should there be heavy rainfall, can these gutters really take it up? Some of them, when I see it, what can we say? But I think I want to say that it's high time we as growing leaders also start thinking for about the next 100 years of projects we are doing. Because some of these projects, the gutters, the one in front of my house, should the flood pass here one day? Dear Lord. Because you look at the example you stated earlier that was made by the majority leader, and especially in the line with how the drainage system is built. We have a drainage system whereby water from the upstream, that's where the source of the water is plenty. That's the upstream. Water flows from there. When it overflows, it comes down to us, and the speed at which it moves, no. The speed at which it moves, our gutters are too small to be able to contain. So when I listened to his message or the speech he gave or the address he gave, I thought to myself, what if Ghana has a drainage system across the country just like Osu? For those of us who know Osu, part of Osu has this big drainage system that even a 4x4 can sit in it. A 4x4 can sit in this drainage system. such drainage system, even though Osu still gets flooded, such drainage systems will take heavy amounts of water and be able to send it to the site that the waters are supposed to be deposited. In the case where we even see cars being carried away by these particular gutters that are huge, why not practice a system whereby we have huge drainage systems, huge gutters, but they are covered? So when the rain comes, it passes under it, just like bridges. When, like how a car passes on top of a river using a bridge. So we have the drainage system that are covered. Then when the rain comes, it passes below and goes. Even if it happens that it's flooded, the cars on top of it will not be carried away to that extent of being in the gutter. And on the issue of Ramsar site, I think I saw a picture being displayed by Ghana Tonight of how the particular Ramsar site, especially part of Accra, how it was just 10 years ago and how it is now. People have bought lands into such places. And there's a particular grass we do show to people that if you want to buy a land and you see this particular grass, know that that particular grass is a river. The grass looks like lemongrass. Is it lemongrass? The grass that we mostly use for tea, fever grass. It looks like that grass. I don't know why you want to laugh at me right now, but I don't know whether that's the name of it though. But we do, if you are from Volta region, you know what I'm talking about. That grass that we put it into tea plenty, sometimes we put it into rice water. That grass, like people call it lemongrass, some call it fever grass and all that. The grass looks like that particular grass. And a lot of them are on areas that are very wet when it rains. And funnily enough, most of the people in our assemblies also, they sell those lands and they take something and they leave the people to build over there. When you take a look at Chiado, the place that they develop, most of them are areas that is wetlands. That means that when it rains, and the areas that have dams, the areas that have, let's say, streams, or the areas that have places that water gets stored, those places, when it gets flooded, the places they bought, water will come deposit over there. So that means that if you build there, the days that the dam or the days that the river over there, or the day that that particular area that is supposed to retain water gets overflowed, it will come into your house. And I would say this practice may not stop. Because usually lands in those areas sometimes are cheaper. And we know, I'm sure if we around that there's a land somewhere being sold for 2,000 cedis and it's going to River Toje, we'll go and buy. So I think we just need to be disciplined as individuals. As we are growing, if any of us get the opportunity to join decision makers anywhere in the years to come, when we are planning drainage systems for this country, think about next 50 years, think about the population. Because the drainage system we practice currently in Ghana, the small gutters that are being built as I see today, I don't think our leaders are thinking about the next 50 years when the population will increase. I honestly don't think about it. I don't think they are thinking about such a thing, because if you look at the gutters we have, I'm sure almost all of us pass town and we do see some of the gutters that are being built as a result of the current construction going on in the country. They don't think about flood. They don't think about heavy rainfall. The only do is like, oh, let some gutter be by the road. That is the reason why they are building the gutter there. But the reason for these gutters is for water to be able to pass through. So I think we just need to be guided as young people. When we get an opportunity to serve in certain key committees, we should be able to hold ourselves and not put our personal interests first and put the nation in the next 100 years first. Let's put Ghana in the next 100 years first, that this drainage system that I'm building, we are awarded for a contractor to build. In the next 100 years, should there be a heavy rainfall, can it contain it? And we should adapt and start adopting the closed drainage system in this country. And the building that we mostly go to build as growing people, let's advise our uncles, our aunties, and ourselves that we don't go and buy wetlands because we want to live in the capital town of a country, or we want to live in the capital city of a region. because most of these wetlands, particularly like the place Honorable Jones, Mr. President mentioned, Alajo, this place is around Achimota, Tessalon, those areas. It's not quite far from Tabele, those areas. It's a prime location, so people are building. When you go to Sakmono is not outskirts of Accra, so people want to be in town. When you go to Chado, Chado is just around Spinter Station area here, not far from even 37. So people want to be live in those areas to be like, oh, we are in the capital of the country. Meanwhile, that particular area is meant for a certain purpose. So even though we want comfortability, let's not be selfish as individuals. Let's do the right thing. And let's make sure we find ourselves in the assembly. If you get the opportunity to become the urban planner in a particular district somewhere, deny people the permits to build in waterways. Deny them the permits to build in waterways, regardless of whatever they offer you. That is what I want to say. And if you are building, build your house. At least don't concrete or don't floor every part of the house. At least leave some, let's say 12 by 12. 12 by 12 is like a normal single room that we see. Leave it at some corner point of the house. That when one day it even rains in your own house and it's heavy, the rain will pass there and go into the ground instead of staying in the compound because you have tiled or you have concreted everywhere and you have fenced there, so the rain won't find any place to pass. Let's practice that. And when that is done, I think Ghana should be a place where we should be resilient towards flooding in the years to come. This is what I think I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Richard, for your expert knowledge in building and giving us this advice. It's very important that we are told these hard truths because we are all struggling, but your struggle should not become a greed to affect the larger. So, honorable senators are encouraged to do the right thing so that in the future they will not come and demolish your building because you thought you had money. Honorable senators, I'll put the question on the motion. As the motion has been moved and seconded, a question ought to be put. Honorable senators in favor of the motion that citizens ought to take responsibility to avoid flooding and not the other way around as government, say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor of the motion, say nay. Honorable senators, the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honorable senators, we have now come to the end of business. Today's sitting is I think we have private business. So we will take commencement of private business, questions, statements, and petitions. Honorable Richard, Senator Richard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually struggled to vote during the voting a while ago as to whether it should be the responsibility of citizens or the other way around. I struggled to vote. And later on, I voted in favor because I felt the government still comprises of citizens. I feel the person working at the urban planning or special planning department is still a citizen. The person working at the local assembly or the district assembly, the engineer, the district chief executive, the lands commission people, I feel they are also citizens. So I was going to vote against and say that maybe it's for the government, it's the duty of the government. But I think the social studies also taught us the government comprises of the citizens. So even though I was conflicted, I don't know whether all of us had that dilemma, but I was a bit conflicted. But that idea came back to mind that the person who is doing whatever they are doing by taking money from people to sell those lands, especially wetlands and all that, are still citizens. So if we the citizens are able to change to have a cultural shift, a change of mindset, and practice good discipline as far as waste management culture is concerned. Ghana should be fine. So I voted for because of that reason. I don't know whether all of us had similar thing in mind, but I wanted to just say this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was a similar concussion between senators as well. So the ayes have it. The motion is carried. Therefore, citizens are to take responsibility for the flooding and work on ways to make it to not happen again. Honorable senators and members, private business, questions, statements, and petitions. Private business, questions, statements, and petitions. Are there any? Senator Comfort, this is your first sitting that you're attending as senator. What is your opinion so far?
Yes. So adjusting to the whole system, I'm learning a lot as well. And I think my bundle got finished. So the network was bad at my end, but I'm back again.
Yes. It's even more fun and educative in physical than online. This is our first online sitting as a Senate after being established for the last 2 years. So we encourage you to be present at the next online sitting, at the last physical sitting, and you'd even enjoy more of what you have seen here.
Okay, sure.
Honorable senators and members, in the absence of any private business, we move to the end of business. Senator Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is a good debate which most of us have learned something from it. However, I believe if the other papers can be released uh, ahead of time so that we can take a look at it before commencement of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I agree with that. The other paper, unfortunately, could not be shared earlier. It was an oversight. But I think next time to be shared earlier so that honorable senators could have more time to think about the debate. So thank you very much. Honorable senators and members, moving to the end of business, the Senate is to adjourn to our 7th, so that'll be 6th sitting of the second session, which will be our 11th Senate sitting. I think out of all the Senates in Ghana, this is the most active Senate as compared to other Senates in other institutions. Our Senate is the most active Senate. So we'll be having our 11th Senate sitting in September, which will be a joint sitting with the 6th Parliament, which will be the second sitting of the 6th Parliament, but to be our 11th sitting as the 7th joint sitting to pass our third bill. Honorable Senators, there is another bill that we have to pass, and just to hint the Senate, the bill is called the YIP Kids Parliament Experience Act 3, 2026, and is highly likely to be the bill that will pass at the joint sitting in September. We might also pass another bill in December joint sitting, which will be our 12th Senate sitting. It's important that we participate in these proceedings so that we can know how stressful it is to pass a bill. Just for the attention of members, today, the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana passed the Community Service Bill, which is seeking to introduce non-custodial sentences for first offenders and other lesser crimes. And they took at least 5 to 7 sitting days to pass it. But we'll be passing our bill in one sitting day. And it's important members participate in this. So if you want to have a feel of how it is to pass a bill in Parliament of Ghana, we'll see you in September to do that. Honorable Senators and members, motion for adjournment. Senator Richard. Motion for adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate, I rise to move the motion to this House to adjourn until in September for our 11th sitting.
Thank you very much. Senator Janet, secondment. Senator Janet, secondment. Okay. Anyone to second? Just unmute yourself and second the motion. Honorable Evans is a youth MP, but let me just allow him. Yes, Honorable Evans.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. According to an then I rise to the motion moved by Honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Senators and members. Honorable Senators, before I put the question, please, the Parliament is still open to get members. So if you want any friend of yours to join the 6th Parliament, they should contact the YIP contact. And incumbent sitting members of Parliament, if you want to continue to the next Parliament, please, you are encouraged to pay your dues in order to be given the opportunity to continue to the next Parliament. Just search the YIP number and you'll be sorted. Honorable Senators and members, I put the question that this House do not stand adjourned, that this Senate do not stand adjourned. All in favor of the motion, as moved and seconded, say aye.
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 Not in favor of the motion, say nay. Honorable Senators and members, the ayes have it. The ayes have it. This Senate now do stand adjourned till September for the 11th Senate sitting, which will be the 7th joint sitting of chambers for the purposes of legislation and to carry out business. The Senate stands adjourned.